got an engine stand. I actually got two engine stands. I'm gonna put it together in the driveway because it's not raining. I realize we talk about the weather a lot. Driveway mechanic life. Alright, there we got it. Two engine stands, an engine hoist, and two engines. So, this weekend, we're transplanting everything from the USDM to the JDM. It's gonna rain all weekend, so I'm stuck in the shop. Hopefully we got enough room to do it. Can't wait. Yeehaw! Okay, in my crowded garage, I've got the USDM motor on the hoist, and I'm trying to put it on the stand. First I got to get the clutch off it because I want to have the clutch handy to put on the JDM motor, because the JDM motor does not come with a clutch. So I'm going to take this off and show you what I'm doing to get this off. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll show what I'm doing. In all the videos I watch, they always kind of gloss over it. Someone will they'll pull the engine out of the car and they'll be like, and then you take the clutch off, and then it's off. So I'm gonna try and show what happens. So there were 6 bolts, 12mm bolts around the pressure plate. Again, I have no idea what things are called. I'll have to look this up. This has something to do with the clutch. There were 6 bolts on this thing. I took them off. There it is. That bad boy's heavy. And presumably you can tell something about the health of the clutch from this. I have no idea, so I'm gonna have to research that. Oh yeah, when you take the bolts off, take them off in a star pattern. All right, so we got the clutch pressure plate off, and now it's just a flywheel. And there's 8 bolts here. I'm gonna pull these, and then I think I take the flywheel off, and then we can mount the engine on a stand. Okay, 1 down, 1 to go. All right, we're done. There you have it. I got 2 Subaru motors in my crowded, disorganized garage, but they're both on engine stands. It's a thing of beauty. I'm pretty happy. I'm gonna stop here for the night. Tomorrow, hopefully I'll start the transplant. Yeah, tune in then. All right, I'm back. I'm here in the garage. I got the ej205 right here, and I'm gonna start taking everything off. I'm gonna strip it right down to the long block. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm not gonna label anything because I'm gonna label everything when I take it off of the ej205, and then I'll label where it goes on the ej205. So for now, I can blissfully just take things off with not a care in the world. So that's what we're gonna do. I got the octopus off the top of the engine, the air intake Throttle body, I don't know. Basically everything right there. That was a bear to get off, but that's a lot of it. There's so much going on here right now. I'm honestly doubting my ability to ever get this back together, but I got no choice but to try. All right, I got the turbo off the JDM. I'm gonna call that a day. It's just total insanity here in my garage. It looks like mad scientist at work. If mad scientists didn't know what they were doing. But we're having fun, learning things. Check back later. All right, I want to show you something strange. I bought an ej205 from a JDM reseller. And JDM 20X engines from Japan are supposed to be dual AVCS, whereas my car, a 2012 WRX, is single AVCS. So that is right here, is the solenoid for the intake cam as part of the AVCS. There should also be, on a dual AVCS, on a ej205, there should be a solenoid right here. My ej205 does not have one, which means it's not an ej205. So what do I have? Very confusing. I spent a long time watching YouTube videos, reading forums, and I've come to this conclusion. If you look on the sticker of the front on the timing belt cover, you can just make out it says, what's it say? ej205. This is not an ej205. This is an ej205. I'm sure the company I bought it from, if I really wanted the ej205, would let me return this. But an ej205 is pretty similar motor, except it's only single AVCS, which makes the swap easier for me. I don't have to mess with the timing. I don't have to turn the timing, the exhaust cams back one tooth, or change the cams out, any of that stuff. So this makes my life a lot easier, and I think these engines are actually more expensive because they're an easier swap. So it's no longer an ej205, it's an ej205. And that meant that the exhaust headers and up pipe are exactly the same, which was my first clue that it wasn't an ej205, because everything I read said that you have to swap the up pipe over, blah, blah, blah. So I am going to swap the turbo over. I think the turbo would work as well, but I think the ej255, the VF52 turbo, is bigger. So we want the bigger turbo, so we're swapping that bad boy over. So, doing pretty good. ej205. I've got everything stripped down. I still need to get rid of the air pump because I'm doing the secondary air pump delete, the sap delete. So I need to get rid of this solenoid here, I believe. And then the piping that goes along with it to here. I just bought a sap delete kit, secondary air pump delete kit. It's just a little plate that goes right there and covers that up. You can see on this side, I already pulled the air pump pipe off of there. So this is what I got to block off. So there's two plates, one for the left side and one for the right side. And they're pretty affordable kits. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna pull the solenoid off, the other solenoid off for the air pump that I'm deleting. And then I think I'll be good to go. Then I can start swapping stuff over. The other thing I'm going to do is the ej205, the JDM engine, has this port here for the cylinder 4 cooling. So you do a little mod. It's a real common mod that it just tees into the heater pipe coming off the, no, not that one, off of that one, which is off the water pump. It just tees in there and helps cool down cylinder 4. It's an easy mod. I've already got the port, so I just need to buy a tee for that. I think it's a 5/8 cooling tee. Alright, we're going to pull the banjo bolt out of the solenoid here and see if there's a screen in it. I mean, there probably is. I don't know why there wouldn't be. And we're going to get rid of it. Yeah, there's no screen. All right, well, that saves us some trouble. I know what you're gonna say. You're not doing a timing belt. Why wouldn't you do a timing belt? Because it's a budget build. I'm trying to put it together as affordably as possible. It's for my son. So yeah, the engine's guaranteed to have less than 60,000 miles on it. The timing belt looks fresh, and I know I can do the timing belt with the engine in the car. Just pull the radiator and do the timing kit then. So, staying as it is. I know, freak out. I'm going to hell. Okay, even though this ej205 from Japan has probably less than 50,000 miles on it, I'm gonna change the spark plugs anyhow. Got myself a new set of NGK Iridium spark plugs for it. The reason I'm changing them is because on a boxer engine, it's pretty hard to get to the spark plug, so better to do it now when I can. Old spark plug on the right, new one on the left. Yeah, they're a little corroded. I'd say definitely a good time to change them. For tightening spark plugs, NGK recommends you hand tighten them, and when you can't tighten it any farther by hand, you give it an extra 1/2 to 2/3 of a turn with your socket wrench. So we'll do that. All right, so this one, I've got everything off the ej205. I got new spark plugs in it. I changed over the O2 sensor, or whatever that one's called. And now I'm ready to start taking everything off of my USDM ej255 and moving it over. So I'm gonna start disconnecting everything and labeling it extensively so I don't mess it up. One thing I noticed right away is that the oil pressure sensor is different from the 255 to the 205. So I'm gonna swap the oil pressure sensor over to the 205. It appears to be 24 millimeter if you were wondering. Okay, I think I have everything disconnected on the engine, on the old engine, on the 255. And every time I disconnect something, I label it on the part I'm pulling off and on the engine, so when I hook it back up, I can check every red tag and know that I haven't missed anything. So to pull the air manifold and everything associated with it off, we're going for these 4 bolts there. There's one there, one there, one there, and one back there. So it's 4 on each side, and hopefully the thing just lifts right off the engine. Okay, we're removing the air intake manifold. Take 6, 7, I can't even remember. There was one more coolant line I'd missed. I really think this time I got it. Oh, I did it! Yes! Air intake manifold off. Okay, I got the air intake manifold off of the ej255. It's really cool to look at. You can finally see everything. And I've got the coolant crossover pipe. I've got another coolant pipe. I don't know. This I think is PCV tubing. But anyhow, these all look the same, so I don't need to swap these over to the ej205. What I do need to swap over, because I've got a Spaghetti Monster AOS air oil separator system, I've got to swap over this fitting here onto the 255. It's different here. And then I also broke this hose in the 255. It was old and brittle, so I've got to switch. Luckily, I've got a good one on the 255, so I'll swap that over. But everything else looks to be the same. I already swapped over the oil pressure sensor. Water temperature sensor is the same. AVCS sensor is the same. Cam angle sensors. Look at me describing things with actual names. I could be totally wrong, but I'm trying. NOx sensor seems to be the same. Crank sensor is the same. So yeah, we're gonna start swapping stuff over, and then we'll throw the intake on the 205, and then we'll move the turbo over, because I want the VF52. The bigger, I think it's the 255 has a bigger turbo, so I'm going to move that over to the 205. True story. All right, now everything's attached. I am going to remove the turbo, I believe. And we're free. There's the turbo. Alright, I got new gaskets on. I razor bladed, cleaned off the surfaces, threw some new gaskets on, and I think we're ready to drop the inlet, the air intake manifold on the engine. There's a dog that just showed up. I've named her Sausage because she's shaped like a sausage. Sausage, how you doing, buddy? She's just hanging out, so I got a shop dog for the day. There's another dog too. I named that one Spot, but I don't know where Spot's at. Install, take one. That's good enough, right? It's sitting on there. All right, torquing these down to 18 foot-pounds, not foot-inches. 18. Alright, I got everything plugged in. It's so much easier going this direction because I just follow my instructions, my notes. Why is that not lining up? I don't know. Putting in the filler pipe here. Alright, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's what that one looks like. I broke a bolt. It seems to happen a lot on old stuff. I'm gonna drill it out. This is the part that's not fun. Alright, well, I'm drilling out the spark plug boot bolt that's stripped, or broke. So I drilled it out in the center, and now I'm easy outing it. And I wanted to film this because this is the first time this has ever worked for me. Normally I have to just keep drilling the bolt out. But this one wasn't that rusty. I had it out a second ago, so. Happy ending to this problem. Yay, it worked. Okay, if you ever break a spark plug boot bolt, don't believe ChatGPT. It's not an M6, it's M8 by 1.25. That's what you need to tap out the spark plug boot bolt. And I'm gonna throw in a fresh Fram 10,000 mile oil filter. And I'm gonna throw on a fresh crush washer on the oil sump drain plug. Ba-doop. And then we can put that back and torque it down. Okay, dare I say it? I think I'm ready to put the engine back in the car. My red label tape has worked really well. You can see everything that hasn't been hooked up yet. When I hook something up, I take the tape off so I know I've covered it. Like this goes to the power steering pump, so we'll hook that up later. This side is all good. I got stuff up here, but I know this goes to the turbo blow off. This goes to the brake booster. And then this here is for the AOS, the spaghetti monster. This goes to the turbo, that goes to the turbo. This goes to the coolant mixing reservoir, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna take the motor off of the engine stand so that I can put the clutch on it, and then I'm gonna throw it in the car. Crazy. I wish I'd got that on video. It was a whole thing. It's where you need two people. I need someone to put their foot on the brake because the e-brake doesn't work currently. So I knocked the chocks, the firewood out of from under the rear tires, and I was gonna just set them back and have it roll into that. Except it rolled over the firewood and kept going, so it was me behind it trying to stop it before it rolled into the gully, but it stopped. Okay, I've got the engine hooked up to the hoist. I'm ready to start lifting it. And then I can come around back. I can throw the flywheel and the clutch pressure plate on there. And then I can drop it back in the car. All right, I got the flywheel on, hand tightened. Torque is 55 pounds for the flywheel and 11 for the clutch, according to Tanner from Smedia, who I trust. I'm going to start by torquing these in a star pattern down to 11, and then I'll jump it up to 55. Okay, I tried different ways to get the clutch lined up, and I think the best way is to just eyeball it, because your eye is a pretty accurate judge of center of plumb. So get the 6 bolts on the outside, just finger tightened to a point where you can move the pressure plate around, you know, by pushing it with your fingers, but then it'll stay there, it won't fall. And then you get in there and you look, and it should be centered. And your eye will tell you if it's not. When you get it good, you snug them down in a star pattern and then torque them down to 11 pounds. Alright, I got the motor in the WRX. This is huge for me. I'm a guy that was excited when he could successfully change his oil in his car, and now I've swapped a motor. JDM swapped a WRX, so I'm pretty psyched. It's a good day. I got the ej205. It's not an ej220X. I got the ej205 in the WRX. Got it hooked up in the bell housing and dropped down into the motor mount, so I'm going to leave it there for now. I got to hook everything else up, but I'll do that later. I'm going to call that a weekend. Thanks for watching. Peace.